So you're tuned into Love Bay Radio and you're welcome. You're welcome to Voices of the Millennials. This is the show where we amplify your voices, concerns, and aspirations of our generation. Welcome to Voices of the Millennials. My name is Annamaria Amissah and I'll be your regular host. And yes, I'm also a millennial, so we are going to go together in this journey of empowerment, exploration, and understanding. Thank you very much for joining us. For those of you who are already very familiar with the show, don't worry, it's the same show. It's going to be the same exciting conversational show, going to accommodate all of the fun that you can think of through very insightful conversations. And we are going to go a notch higher by making sure that we get all you millennials out there involved. So if you have a question, if you have a comment, you can leave us a message on all our YouTube and all our social media pages that are displayed down there. Just send us a message and we'll make sure that we have your voice heard. Welcome to Voices of the Millennials. Vanessa, hi, that's my guest. Before I
Hi.
introduce you, the topic for discussion tonight is millennials and social change. And my guest for tonight is Vanessa Ado. I'll give you time to introduce yourself, but you're tuning into Love Bay Radio, and this is Voices of the Millennials. Vanessa, go ahead.
Hi. Hope everybody's having a great night. My name is
Yeah.
Vanessa. I'm from New York and I'm very excited to be here. I'm a millennial, of course, as well.
Right, right. So let's go straight into the topic for discussion tonight. Millennials and social change. When we talk about social change, we are talking about the transformation of societal structures, norms, values, and all sorts of beliefs and everything. And we are millennials at the center of the stage. I just want to quickly find out from you how, I mean, before that, you didn't tell us about yourself. Tell us a little more about what you do before we delve into the conversation.
just a little bit about myself. I currently work in sales right now, and I also went to school for communications. I still take some classes in technical writing. So yeah, and when I do have free time, I just like to work out, travel when I can, things like that.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So like back into the conversation. So
hmm
millennials and social change. I'm thinking about that one shift or social change that shaped you into becoming the professional that you are. Hey, we have Samantha. We have Samantha joining our conversation. Hi, millennial.
Hi, I'm so sorry. The time difference here just threw me right off. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry
It's
about it.
okay. It's okay. You're tuned into Love Bay Radio, guys. We have Samantha on the line with us to join our conversation. Samantha, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, hi, my name is Samantha Nelson. I'm from Jamaica and I'm the owner and founder of Sammy's Virtual Services. We are an online based business that helps businesses of all size and of all niche with creative, administrative, and technical support. So that's basically me in a nutshell.
Okay, nice. That's really nice to meet you, ladies. You're most welcome. You're most welcome to Voices of the Millennials right here on Love Bay Radio. Yeah, so we were talking about the topic for tonight is millennials and social change, and we're just going to delve straight into it. I was asking Vanessa, what is that social change, that significant change that has helped her to has shaped her into the woman that she is today. Vanessa, you can go ahead.
Um, yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I feel like as millennials, we have a lot of like different issues that we come across.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just try to be a good example, just
Yeah.
by doing the best that I can, working hard, and just trying to not let like obstacles, get in my way. But
Mm,
yeah, I don't know if there's anything like specific that I've
that-
done, but I mean,
mm,
there's definitely more I could do. But I just try to be a good example for others.
mm. Samantha, Is there a particular change that you remember really affecting you and shaping you to becoming who you are today?
Absolutely. Mindset. I don't know
Okay.
if Vanessa has ever encountered like the culture that I have here in the United States and more in the
Mm,
Caribbean. But growing up, like we weren't taught much about being in business. We weren't
okay.
taught much about woman in business actually. And because of that, I had to do like a mindset shift. I have to basically teach myself how to do that shift. Just try to come out of the employee employer kind of mindset, thinking that we always have to be working for somebody else. And because
Okay.
in our household, we are not thought that, hey, in the Caribbean, when you're young, if you're not a lawyer or a doctor or a nurse or someone in those professions, is like you're looked down upon. And it's so crazy because growing up now, you realize, especially on social media, a lot of persons are tapping into creating their own businesses, creating their own voice, creating their own self, being their own unique person. So I had to do a whole mindset shift just to tell myself that, hey, you don't have to live to like the cultural norms. You can live outside
Yeah.
of that and still be successful. And success for everybody can look very different, because success for me might not be the same way you look at success, but it can be so different for everybody else. And I think that's one of the hardest thing, not even as a Caribbean person, but I think overall it's very universal, that we struggle with mindset. Like,
Mm,
having that mindset shift, or telling yourself that you can, just waking up every day and reassuring yourself that you can. So that was one of the major things that I had to do, is a
yeah.
mindset shift. Right.
Do you think that as millennials, the kind of vibe that we exude in the things that we do is different from other generations?
I believe so. I believe so.
Yeah.
I think we are more proactive. We kind of tap into things that, as millennials, other persons wouldn't. Social media has changed the whole game for a lot of us, and it has exposed us to so much things. And I think it's one of the things that really kind of teaching like the younger generation know that you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. There are so much more other opportunities out there. So I definitely believe that. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vanessa, what do you think?
No, I believe that too. I feel like with social media exploding, we have access to things that we never knew was even possible before. So, like she was saying with like business, like, even though when we were younger, we were always taught, like you said, go to school, get a good education, get a good job. But we've learned, like, now the way that the economy is, the way that the world is, that's not always like a straightforward path to success. And it's still something I'm learning. I haven't started like my own business or anything yet. I still work for like a company, but it would be nice, to have my own business, to
Yeah.
take control over my own time. And I think as millennials, we see a lot of people that are doing that more now. And we can see, like, because we have social media, because we can see the behind the scenes, we can see like what it takes, and like we can see more examples of that. So I feel like it is changing. We have a different, like, so a way of society that works different than it used to.
Speaking about social media, now I believe social media is taking like it's actually the driver that we millennials are using to do instigate some sort of changes in the norms that were already there. Do you think that social media, as it is, should continue to be what we use in driving the social change, or do you think that maybe we could tone it down a bit, or maybe we should use something different? Because a lot of people are also against social media. This same social media, people are saying that, or maybe let me just say, other generations think that it's rather a curse than a blessing. What do you think?
Me personally, I think it has pros and cons for sure, but I think it has more pros than cons
Than
because,
cons.
yeah, just because there's so many things that we learn from other people that we wouldn't have been able to see before. And like people get to be more vocal. And just beforehand, there was, media has always been a part of society, but before it was controlled by like big corporations, and we only got like one side of a story. And now like regular people can tell their story without having to like be part of a big corporation. So I just think it gives more people power, and
Mm,
it lets more people have their voices be heard. So I think it's a
mm.
good thing.
It's a good thing. More pros
Yeah.
than cons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Samantha.
I would have to agree, with Vanessa as well. I think it has a lot of pros, and it helps you to connect with people. It's like an avenue for you to connect with different persons in different parts of the world, kind of see their life from a different perspective, because we are living in different regions and sometimes we don't know the struggles that other persons are going through. And
Mm,
but while it connects us and while it kind of pushes us out there as a person, some of us are on social media just being ourselves as a person, others are doing it, promoting their business and stuff. But
Hmm.
we all have to be socially aware, because
Hmm.
sometimes, because the media is there, we just kind of feel like, oh, we can say and do everything. But we have a responsibility, because we have to be careful what we put out there, because once it's out there, it's out there. Even if you delete something, it's still going to be in
mm-hmm,
circulation just the same.
mm-hmm,
So we have to be very socially aware of what we're putting out there. If it's business, it's business. If we're promoting ourselves as a brand, then we're promoting ourselves as a brand. But I think
mm-hmm.
social media has evolved a lot of us, and it has changed a lot of us lives. From what I've seen, especially TikTok has been helping persons tremendously. You get to build a community, you get to vibe with other persons from all parts of the world, you get to communicate. I believe it's a good source of development. But while you're developing, you have to be socially responsible.
I mean, we've spoken about all the advantages that social media is giving us and all of that, but are there still barriers that we are trying to break? Are there barriers that is kind of like making us not achieve the social change that we want? Have you thought of any barriers ever?
Regions, I would say, depending on your region, some persons may have access to some, features of being on
Yeah.
social media or the apps.
Mhm.
I can speak from the Caribbean, especially Jamaica. We don't have a lot of the features that you see other persons who might be in Canada or in the US have. So it kind of limit us and limit our reach and connection. But nonetheless, I still think it's a great opportunity for us. Just the same, it's just that because of region, we there are certain features that are not accessible to us.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to older generation, it's a bit overwhelming. The kind of things that we the millennials are exposed to, what they know, and when they see the things that we do and how we think, how we behave, the kind of aspirations that we have in life. They are wondering if everything is okay with us. They are wondering if we are not doing. They're wondering if we are not doing too much. If we are not going over the top. How do you think that we can manage the relationship that we have with our parents, in this societal change that we are trying to drive as millennials?
I think
Vanessa?
that a lot of like, yeah, I just think a lot of older generations, they grew up in different circumstances, and I feel like sometimes
Yeah.
they don't understand that things are not the same as it was before. So I just think just trying to tell them, like this is how it is now. Just trying to educate them. Sometimes you have to educate the parents too. They educate
Yes.
us. Sometimes we have to educate them because they might not know. Like they're not always around. Like people our age. They might like have their own generation. So we just have to educate them on the way things are now. And I think that's all we can do. Just be vocal about our stories, what our struggles are,
Mhm.
and I think that's all we can do is just be more vocal and just let them know what's going on.
Samantha, what do you think?
I think a lot of times our parents expect us to live in their shadow. And
Yeah.
now that we're growing up and we're becoming our own person, our own woman, our own man, it's kind of hard for them to kind of realize that we have our own lives and we have our own personalities. And we are now, I think the millennials are becoming way more logical than emotional. Because I think a lot of our
Okay.
parents kind of approach things from an emotional standpoint and not a logical standpoint. So when we speak out, it kind of seems different to them. is she okay? This is just crazy. But it's not that we are crazy, it's just that we have been exposed to something new, something different, and we're now being awakened. If I think that's a better word to use, to say that things are not set in stone. Back then, our parents would say to us, "Oh, we used to have to walk 50 miles to get to school, and we had to walk 50 miles back. And when we get home, we got to bring the water from the well or from the lake and stuff like that." Now we grown up, things are way more modern. We don't have to do that. And I feel like because we didn't have to go through the struggle that they went through, they kind of feel like, oh, we're not learning. Like, we don't experience the hard parts of life to say
Children
that
of
we
today, you're
grow.
lazy. You're
Yes,
lazy.
to say that we are grown and we are becoming adults. But while we're not experiencing that sort of struggle, I think one of the major struggles that we do experience is mental health, emotional health. And that in itself is so difficult for a lot of us to navigate, to manage. And they don't understand that part either. Because even when we try to talk to our parents and say, "Hey mom," or "Hey dad, I'm going through this," they'd be like, "I went through it too. It would be okay." But we kind of process things differently. So
Yeah.
it has to take time for us to kind of sit with the older generation to say, "Hey, this is what we're experiencing. This is what we are going through as millennials." Oh my god, I can't get
Yeah.
that word.
It's fine. I
Millennials.
got you.
But this is
Mhm.
what we're going through, and we kind of need you to be there, even if you don't know how to advise us. Be there as moral support, be there
Yeah.
as emotional support, and be our parents. Just be our
Mm.
parents, and that would be enough, I think. Yeah.
That'll be enough. That'll be enough.
Yeah.
Thinking about different aspects of the lives of a millennial, like fashion. If we take fashion, for example, the millennials are trying to dress differently, and it's a bit overwhelming for the other generation. But do you think that we are taking it? Do you think that the opportunity that we have now in terms of fashion, our fashion sense as millennials, do you think that it's okay?
Um,
Is it how it should be? Is it how it should
I mean,
be?
I
Are
can
we
only
on the
speak for
right path?
myself.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah, I
speak
can
for
only speak for
yourself.
myself. Sometimes you see like crazy things on social media,
Oh
and
yeah.
I wouldn't
Yes.
dress like that, but I think people are more
Yes.
expressive, they want to be more open. So I think that people just like to express themselves in different ways. Different millennials dress different ways.
Different
But
way.
I mean, I do think some people take it too far, but it's also like it's how they want to express themselves. So I can't judge, and I think people have
So
the
it's
right to
okay
be
to
how they want
express
to
yourself. That's what we are saying. It's okay to express yourself. So do we have are we in a position to advise? Can we
be.
advise?
Are
Well,
we in a
I
position
think
to advise people?
yeah, to advise people.
I think everybody has a different sense of fashion and
Fashion.
style. And just like Vanessa said, it's a sense of expressing your personality and who you are. Especially for persons who are not very vocal, they use
Yeah.
different things to speak like their emotions. And
Yeah.
fashion is one of those things. Personally, once you're comfortable in what you're wearing, I think it's your choice to wear what you want to wear. I mean, we may not agree with it, or I may not agree with your style or fashion, but that doesn't mean that you aren't comfortable with what you're wearing.
Mm.
Personally, I don't wear certain things, and that's okay. I mean, Vanessa might wear something that she's
Mhm.
comfortable with. Do I have to like it? No, I don't have to, but that's her fashion, and I have to respect that and respect what she chooses to wear and how she chooses to basically present herself in the outside world. So
Right.
I think it's really about how one want to express themselves and how they feel comfortable in what they're wearing. I don't want to judge. I'm not in any position to judge. And sometimes
To
some people
judge.
wear stuff and it's a cry for help, and we don't know. They're literally
Yeah.
crying
Yeah.
for help. Say, "Hey, I'm
Yeah.
struggling. I'm having a mental breakdown. I'm having an emotional breakdown. I don't know what to do." And it's a cry for help. Um, So rather than, judge, try to have a conversation, like a very respectable conversation with them, and to see where it goes. Because sometimes persons just want you to say, hey, are you okay? And then that's where the conversation starts.
Yeah, yeah. Vanessa, do
That's
you
true.
want to add something?
No, I agree with everything she says.
Yeah,
That's true. I'm not here to judge. Everyone has different ways to
yeah,
express themselves, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? But she's true. Some
yeah.
people sometimes it does come out like a crap or help sometimes, but sometimes they're
Mm.
like, no, this is how I want to be. So everyone's different.
So you live everybody. Millennials, we can be, we have a really unique style of being millennials. We have different
Yes.
types of millennials, yeah. And it's amazing when it's a conversation between millennials and the other generations. It's going to be a topic for another day. But let's talk about let's talk about uh participation in community to drive social change. Have you guys personally done any form of community participation, any grassroots form of uh, community participation to change something, to drive something in your various communities? Samantha, are there any opportunities like that in Jamaica?
Yeah, we do have a lot of outreach programs here in Jamaica. I can speak from what I've done. Um,
Okay,
I
we
used
want
to
to know
be an
the story.
assistant. I used to be an assistant teacher before,
Okay.
so I used that skill to help my community, like the younger kids at the time that didn't have, the funds to go to school 5 days a week. They probably can only afford to go two. So on the weekends, I would take them on, and we would do lessons with them from the back of my house
Oh, that's
under a
nice.
shed. Yeah, so I used to do that, and then I got help from other community members. We put on community shows, fun days and stuff like that. That was when I was way younger, in my teens, like 17, 18, 19. But now in my current life, I do have a online group. I have an online social group that is dedicated to aspiring virtual assistants who want to tap basically in the digital marketing world and to learn what I do. So I basically have a group of currently women. We invite all genders, but currently we only have women. And, I basically train them, teach them everything that I know about being in the online space and creating your own virtual assistant business. That has been going well. The ladies has been doing absolutely great, and I'm super proud of them. I do
Mm.
believe some of them are here watching the show. So I'm
Oh,
super
that's
proud of
wonderful.
them. And I
That's
really wanted to
wonderful.
do it because when I started off this journey, I really didn't see much persons from the Caribbean that was,
Mm.
disseminating information surrounding this type of business. So I decided that I wanted to be that person. And then the group started. We have persons all over. We have persons from St. Lucia, from Trinidad, that is a part of the team. And I'm super happy that they're here. So it's not just for Caribbean persons, not just for Jamaican persons, but for the
Okay.
Caribbean. And why I kind of choose that region is because there are a lot of persons in the US that are doing what I'm doing and that are teaching persons in that region. But when it comes to the Caribbean, because certain information is so, I wouldn't say it's not out there, but we're known not to like to read. So I will do the reading and
Yeah.
give you the
Mhm.
information. So I do
Yeah.
that,
Okay.
just try to help them to navigate the online space. So that's my little small community. I do have a TikTok profile that I teach through TikTok lives and my posting on TikTok. So I have formed like a very genuine community there, and I'm really happy for that.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's commendable. Vanessa, do you have anything, or have you thought of anything that you would want to do for community? Is there anything, any opportunity that you would like to explore?
Um, now that I'm thinking about it, as like when I was younger, I did a lot of like volunteering in school, in college and
Okay.
some church events volunteering. But as an adult, I feel like I let like adult life get the best of me. And I think there's more that I
Oh,
should do, to like, like you said, like build a community
oh,
or like advocate
it
for change.
does. It
So
does. It does.
yeah, it's so important. Like, your community is so important. And I feel like being a good example is good, but like helping others is also like is even one step better. So I'm not sure,
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely want to like do more of that in the future.
In the future for the
Definitely.
communities. That's
Yeah.
that's amazing. Now let's talk about the employment patterns in our various society. Do you think that there would be a need to drive a social change when it comes to employment partners, do you think that some some type of jobs have been driven by societal norms and made impossible to achieve by others? Or what do you think? What's happening in your communities, Samantha?
Um, I think I think we're looked down upon when we try to tap
Yeah.
into, and I have to use that term a lot. And why? Because no, before, like before, we used to be looked down upon if you're trying to, start a business and stuff. If you're not the lawyer and the doctor and the nurse or the firefighter or the policeman back then, I mean, your parents would think that what we would call in Jamaica, you're good for nothing. Like you're a nobody. And
Okay.
because of that, it kind of messes with our mental growing up, because I used to think that if I did not go to college and university, I was not worth it. I was not good enough. But growing
Mm.
up and becoming my own adult and, basically just trying to figure life out on my own, I really saw that a lot of my friends that went to college just saying, Sammy, I wish I didn't go because I can basically earn, if not more, than a policeman or a nurse right now, just tapping into the online space or even having me my own business, maybe,
Yeah.
selling merchandise or stuff like that. It would be worth way more. And even if I'm drained, I'm tired, it's that I'm investing in something that is going to build me rather than investing my time into another company.
Yeah.
I don't look down upon 9 to 5. And I always say, when you're in a 9 to 5, that era of your life is for you to build your professional life. It's for you to build on your professional growth. Learn everything you can in your 9 to 5. And ultimately, when you decide to start a business or whatever the case is, you can basically use all of those experiences and put it into your business. So it's a way of fostering your own personal development without even knowing. If I had known that 9 to 5 is really for my professional growth and development, I would have looked at it differently. But
Okay.
no, hitting 30, things kind of things kind of, you know, allow me to kind of sit it myself and look into myself and see, hey, I really don't have to follow what society says. And I try to tell this to as many young persons as I can when I go in the supermarket or on the street and I get to have a conversation. I'm like, okay, so you're working in a supermarket, learn everything you can here. It's a way of you building yourself. It's a way of you building your professional life, you know. So, but it's just a starting stone for you. This is not the end. There is so much more that you can explore, that you can do. Tap into your passion, whatever your passion is. Try to make
Yeah.
a business out of it so you can have at least a side hustle. In Jamaica, to be honest, employment is very hard to get for a lot of persons. And although our country has not been populated with the BPO sector, it is still very difficult to get in at times. So you find more and more younger persons are leaning to start a business or, do something with the knowledge that they already have. If you're a teacher, then they become tutors online. If you are good with sales, they now find merchandise that they are passionate about and start to sell them online. So the employment market here, it's very, very difficult, and that's why I always advise people, if you're trying to get a job like a regular 9 to 5 and it's not working out for you, go ahead and use your passion and start to make something out of it, because I guarantee you someone will pay you for the information that you have.
I feel like
Because
young people are kind of like going a bit slow on their passion and rather looking for what we call the white collar jobs because they feel that they may not make it in their passion because the society is generally hard on people trying to start their own business. The one that is going to a 9 to 5 job is always seen as more successful, automatically successful than anybody that is trying to start out a business of their own. I have a friend who was into communication. We went to the same school, we did communication, but her actual passion was designing, making dresses.
Mm.
So After school, she did a course in public relations. She started off as a journalist and then dived somewhere into public relations, and then before we knew it, she said, you know what, I'm just going to put aside the certificate and just go into my passion. I want to design dresses. And today she makes beautiful dresses, wedding dresses. Like, she sews
Mhm.
beautiful, stunning wedding dresses. So I feel like the
That's
society has already marked the 9 to 5 jobs as being, and some particular types of job, like if you are a lawyer, wow, you are drop dead gorgeous, as against somebody who is an entrepreneur. If you are an entrepreneur and we are not seeing you in any sort of designer bags and sort of designer shoes, it's like you are probably close to failing at what you are doing. But if you are that 9 to 5 person or doing a particular kind of job, then you're always on the top. So I feel like the society, we need to shape how the society also thinks about jobs, about entrepreneurship, especially about individuals following their passions, that kind of thing. Vanessa, what do you think?
I actually think these days, especially with, millennials getting older, I think people are more accepting and even like encouraging people to get into entrepreneurship because, you hear, I don't know if you've seen a lot of like the TikTok videos, but a lot of people are like tired of regular 9 to 5 because, they work so hard at their
yes.
job, 40 hours a week, and it's still
Yeah,
not enough. They need a second job, they need a third job just to pay rent, and everything is so expensive. So I think a lot of young people these days are like, is it even worth it going to college and going into debt if I'm going to get a job that's not going to pay enough? With entrepreneurship, there's no limit to how much you can make. If you start a business and it's really successful, you can make twice as much as someone as a 9 to 5 and not even work as much. So I think like the
yeah,
way that society is viewing it is changing a lot.
it's changing. Okay, it's changing a
I
lot.
think
Hmm.
so too. I
in,
would
in, in,
agree.
in
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Now when it comes to work, now there's a lot of remote working coming to play. Most of our
Hmm.
jobs are allowing staff to work from home as against to going to work
Hmm.
presently, going to work. How is that playing out for you guys? Do you think that is good for business or not?
I believe so. I don't believe so. I know so. Being a remote worker, um,
Yeah,
COVID has really taught us a lot. COVID has really opened
yeah,
doors to things that we didn't expect and things that we didn't thought would be able to happen. Um, but then before COVID, if you are, wanted to take a day, you had to take a sick day from your 9 to 5. No, you can literally take a sick day and still doing your 9 to 5 from home.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's kind of different. I feel like it gives persons comfort. It also saves a lot. Especially if you have to commute back and forth and you have to take multiple transportation to get to work, it does work out. A lot of companies are realizing now that they don't have to have a physical space. They don't no longer need a brick and mortar situation to run a business. Everything can be done virtually. Once it is, of course, you have the right persons on your team. You have a good HR department, you have a good customer care department, you have a good admin department, and it's all virtual. You can definitely build a successful business with remote workers or remote
yeah.
contractors. So I think it has
Mm.
changed, it has really changed the work spectrum, to be honest. And I'm really looking forward for it to even grow and get bigger. And I really wish everybody could work from home
Yeah,
because you're in
Vanessa.
your comfort space. I think it gives you a oomph of productivity. Like you get up,
Hmm.
okay, I have to work from this time to this time. I can work in my pajamas.
Yeah,
I I think it does make
Hmm.
you way more productive. You have to get up early. You got to get dressed. You got to make breakfast. You got to rush out because you got to reach to work by 8:30. It's just so much happening. By the time you wake up to get to work, you're already tired.
yeah,
Yeah. Some
yeah.
people won't even take jobs if it's not remote now, So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
That
become really
that's
big.
really good. But in our part of the society, like for example Ghana, it's not like that. Remote jobs are
Mm.
not very much. Not most jobs are allowing people to work from home. You still have to go to work. So it's got to do with, so the change in the way the society thinks hasn't trickled down to everywhere. I think it's more in some countries than other countries, and that's something that, you know,
Mhm.
millennials in that part of the world need to think of, driving that change to get that mindset change or that kind of behavioral
Yeah.
thing changed. Yeah, Vanessa, you were saying something.
Yeah. Well, I actually just started working from home actually like 2 weeks ago. So, yeah,
Oh,
like she said, yeah, I did. Yeah. I worked from home
in
before, but I went back
sales.
to the office. Yeah. So we talk to customers over the phone. So,
Okay.
we work from home. If we have meetings, we can do them over Zoom with our team. But yeah, I work
Oh,
from home now, and it has been really convenient to save on like gas and to save on the commute. The only con that I have about working from home is I wonder if as a society, if millennials and will be like more isolated if everyone is working from home because you don't get like as much of a sense of community with your coworkers. And some
okay.
people like that. Some people don't want to like associate with
Yes.
coworkers, but I wonder if that's going to be like a con if people are just more individualized and not really, and communicating with other people. So,
It's true. But
yeah.
really, when especially millennials, when we are in an open space, we are always on our phones.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's that willingness to even wanting to feel that kind of togetherness or that not being isolated. Isn't our phones doing that already to us?
Yes, kind in a way they are.
Yeah.
But I feel like people that are like chronically online and they don't actually like talk to people face to face, I think it gives you a sense of being like together and having engagement and being in a community, but I feel like it's not the same as actually being with people. You
With
know,
people.
it's nice.
That's
It's nice to
true.
have and it's a good way to communicate with people, but I don't think you have that sense of like community that you can
Mm,
have when you're with
Mhm.
people face to face, you know.
right, right.
It's kind
Vanessa,
of
what do you think?
different.
Yeah. Vanessa, what do you think? Is different working from home and being alone as to being at work with people.
I mean, it's been nice. I feel like definitely more comfortable. I can just go downstairs and start my work, and I don't have to go anywhere. You know, it is. I will say it is more like isolating, just because when I was at work, I have people next to me. If I have a problem or if I need to talk to somebody,
Okay.
I can just talk to somebody real quick, and they're right there. I can still get help, of course. I can still communicate over like Zoom and chat, but it's not as easy to get
As easy.
answers back than when you're in person.
Samantha, what do you think?
I agree. I believe, okay, so I have been doing this online space since 2021, and to be
Okay.
honest, it gets lonely. It does
Okay.
get lonely. You don't, as Vanessa said, you don't have somebody next door to say, "Hey,
Yeah.
Sherry, can you check on this for me?" It's kind of different. You still have the support, but it's online and it's always like via chat or a quick
Okay.
meeting, a quick 15-30 minute meeting. So it's
Mm,
not the same. And one of the cons, I think, just to expand on that, is that it kind of, I don't know if it affects our communication and our development, because being around people
like you
is
forget how
no,
to
like
speak.
being around people helps you to develop and to grow because you have different conversations. Like a group of us will sit, we'll talk, we'll have lunch
Okay.
together. It's kind of different now because you're locked away in your home in an
Okay.
office
Mhm.
space. It does get pretty lonely if you don't have like a community at home, like kids to
Mhm.
cheer you up and stuff like that. It does get pretty lonely. And me
Yeah.
personally, I think it affects like our communication and somewhat of our
Yeah.
Mhm.
development.
Yeah, I mean, you learn from people, right? Even
We do.
words. But I mean, people speak, people say new things. You get to learn new things. You get to ask questions, but then you don't get that anymore if you are alone and working remotely. If you
Mhm.
guys were given the opportunity to raise awareness as millennials on a particular subject, what subject would that be in raising awareness? Let me give you a quick 1 second to think it through. Think it through. Just think it through. If you're supposed to raise awareness about something as a millennial in your various communities, what would that one thing be that you would choose to raise awareness on?
Mm.
Mental health. I would
You are
say.
for mental health.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Give
Mental
us
health.
give us why.
We struggle a lot, and in our heads, we fight a lot of battles, especially emotionally. We sometimes feel like nobody understands us. Or even if they say they do, it's like they only understand us to an extent. Like they don't fully get it. And we don't expect people to kind of get our feelings because it's how we feel, not how they feel. Um, and a lot of times because of society's expectation, and younger generation are trying to live up to what society expects of them. So for example, if you operate a business and it's going well, people expect you to drive the most expensive car or to live in the most expensive apartment, and that's usually never the case. Because if you're building a business and you're growing, anybody will tell you that in the first 2 to 5 years, you literally don't make any profit from your business. It takes time to grow. It's like a long term investment. And it does play on our minds because we're watching everybody on social media and we see, oh, they're growing. This girl just bought her new car, or she just bought her new home, and you kind of feel like, oh my god, we're in the same age range and I'm not able to do that for myself, and it plays on you because you think that, oh my god, they are doing so better than me, and we're in business. It does affect us, and there's so much other things, like personal things, that affects us that we don't talk about, and we fight with our mental, we fight with our own emotions, we sit, we go in the dark, we struggle. Even persons in 9 to 5, they are struggling
Yeah.
too. They are battling things in the workplace. Maybe it's a toxic supervisor or a toxic HR department, or they just
Mhm.
can't get through where they need to get through. It's
Yeah.
just so hard. And to manage all of that with just your regular personal life, it's difficult. And persons going about their daily life and think that, oh my god, she everything is okay with her, she's so happy, she's so bubbly, she's so jolly, and they don't know that, hello, I'm dying inside and somebody come help
Yeah.
me, you know. So I need help. So I do would speak a lot about mental health and protecting your aura, your energy. And sometimes you got to take a step back. If it's getting too overwhelming, too much, it's okay to take a step back. You don't have to do everything that society says. You don't have to, drive the big car. You don't have to do all of that. You can literally take a step back. And a lot of times we are not emotional intelligence is what a lot of us is lacking, because we don't
Okay.
know how to regulate our emotions, and because of that it
Okay.
affects our mental, and when it does, we pop on other persons. So we tend to get aggressive, or we tend to
Mm.
withdraw. And there's a whole lot more that comes with it. Our environment, or
Mm.
and people around us can affect us so badly, and they don't even know the words that you speak over some person's life. You're not worth it, or you can't do that, or who says you're good at that, stuff like that. It does play on people. So mental health for me is very important, because I do believe I protect my energy a lot. I don't
Mm.
entertain certain things, especially in my
Yeah.
home. Like I don't invite certain persons to my home, because it's my space. It's where I let my
Mm.
hair down. It's where I get comfy. It's where, so I have to protect that. So I would definitely tap
Yeah.
into mental health and emotional intelligence.
And raise awareness on that. I personally would want to raise awareness on self-development. I feel
True.
like the individual need to get that mentorship or coaching that they need to be able to help them making good choices about themselves. Of course, emotion, you,
Oh
you
yeah.
talked about emotional intelligence. It's also very important. I feel like they need to be able to get the coaching for new skills, getting that positive vibe that they need to grow and be able to nurture their habits
True.
and know what exactly to do, where to go, what to choose, just try to enhance a positive mindset while growing up, as an individual. Definitely, it's something that I'd want to raise awareness on so that all individuals, all young people growing up will just take the right path and grow up healthy, you know, and do good, be well in everything that they do. Vanessa, what would be that one thing that you raise awareness on if you get the opportunity?
Um, Mental health is very important, and that was great. I think like when I think about like what people struggle with around me mostly, or what I see online from millennials, I think a lot of the issues we have now are like economic inequality and like needing political reform. I'm thankful, I'm grateful I don't have like student loans, but a lot of my peers
Oh
have a
yeah.
lot of student loan debt. And again, like a lot of these jobs don't pay enough to like cover the rising cost of like housing, and like everything is just inflated right now, for everybody. But I feel like as millennials, we probably have it like the hardest just because a lot of millennials went to school, paid thousands of dollars, got into so much debt, but they were told that's the only way that they were going to be successful. And now they're stuck with all
Right.
this debt. They're
Yeah.
stuck with jobs that don't pay enough. They're stuck with like housing that's been skyrocketing. So I just feel like that's something that needs to change. There needs to be some relief somewhere, either there needs to be like, more there needs to be more options for like housing that is affordable for people, or jobs need to pay more,
Yeah.
and I feel like right now it's like hard. And like of course like everybody knows like the housing crisis is like really bad with like the interest rate on
Yeah.
homes.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
been really hard for like a lot of people. Then they're trying, they work really hard, but it's just there's so many things that are out of their control, you know.
Yeah. 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 I mean, so it's been a great conversation right here on Love Bay Radio. I'm joined by Vanessa Ado and Samantha. Vanessa is a sales expert and Samantha is an entrepreneur. She has her own business and two boss ladies right here giving me all the vibes that millennials need to. And it's wonderful that we are learning from you guys. I mean, all the things that you're saying are right on point. And I think that some millennials out there will be getting some insight, as to what they need to do just by listening to what we are doing. This is exactly what the platform is meant to do, to draw in insightful conversations to make sure that, we encourage each other and draw out the positive vibes that the millennials need to get to move on in life. My name is Annamaria Amissah. I'm your regular host. This is Voices of the Millennials right here on Love Bay Radio. Ladies, our final words. We are wrapping up on the show tonight. Our final words as millennials and social change is the kind of things that we want to drive in our communities, the social change that we need to be able to thrive as millennials. I'd want to take your final words as we sign out of the show. I'll start with Samantha.
Greater things are always on the other side of fear, and no one perception of you does not dictate what your future is going to look like. So if you feel like you want to invest in that passion, go ahead and do it. Try. Are you afraid of failing? Well, how would you know you're going to fail if you don't try? Coming from someone who had two failed businesses in the past and still doing business, and a lot of times my friends say, "Oh no, Sammy, the business did not fail." I mean, I would think I just wasn't equipped with the information that I needed to grow and foster those businesses. And as you speak earlier, and about self development and mentorship. If I had the mentorship that I have now, I believe those businesses would have been beautiful and they would have grown wonderful. But do you like don't live up to society's expectation? Whatever makes you feel comfortable, be yourself, whether express yourself, whether if it's fashion or cooking or games, whatever that makes you you, whatever makes you unique, do what it is that makes you comfortable. And ultimately, when you try to be yourself, you will realize that everyone around you start respecting and accepting for who you are because you're being the true you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a good one. Vanessa, what do you think?
Yeah, just to go off of that, I just yeah, like she was saying, I think we should just keep working hard as millennials, even though we have a lot of obstacles. We need to keep just working hard, just trying to do the best that we can. Um, and yeah, that's all I really have. But thank you for having me.
Mm, yes.
Yeah.
So just before we go, I am just getting some messages right here, and I want you guys to help me answer the messages. I think we have about 5 more minutes to go, but just help me answer this question. So I have a question here that is saying that, hi, I have been able to do the kind of business that I want to, but my parents think that this business will not help my future. What should I do? Okay, we would have appreciated it if you had told us the type of business that it is, but um, they didn't say the type of business that it is. But let's just assume that the business is is maybe not the usual doctor or lawyer kind of business, and it's something, it's the person's own business, an entrepreneur kind of business, or a vocational technical type of business. What would we say to this millennial asking this question? Her parents think that the kind of business that she wants to do will not help her in the future. What should she do? Any of you can go, guys.
If you believe in the business that you're trying to grow and develop, and you believe in you, keep going. That's really it. I mean, sometimes a lot of our parents, because it's not cultural, it's not like within what they're used to, it's kind of hard for them to accept that, oh, she's doing, for example, like a fashion business. Keep going, keep going. And the funny thing is, what I've always seen is that when that business grow and become,
Okay, she says nail technician. Nail
keep
technician
going.
business.
Keep going, keep going. You have a whole lot of nail techs, especially in Jamaica. We have like the regular ones, and then we have the nail techs that brand themselves as luxury nail techs, and those are the high end ones. Like when you go to those ones, you gotta make sure you have your cash. But
Yeah.
keep going. If it's your passion and it's something that you love and you have a skill, it's a skill that will never leave you. Once you have it, you have it. It's a skill that will never leave you. Keep going, keep going.
And I've never
Okay.
started a business, but I'm sure once that business is successful, your parents will be glad you started it, you know?
Yeah, they
So,
will. They will.
mhm.
They will.
Right. I mean, I think that if you are really skilled at your nail technician business, I think you should concentrate on doing it. If you can try, it doesn't mean that you should cut your education of some sort. I mean, if probably that is what you are doing that is making your parents say is not going to help you in the future, then maybe, but you should still pursue yourself, because that reminds me, in our part of the world, for example in Ghana, there are times that individuals tend to feel like, okay, I want to do this kind of business, is vocational, so I don't really need to go to school. But it is important that whatever type of business that you are doing, education is important. You need to upgrade yourself in
Yeah.
any type of skill that you do, so that whatever talent that you have, you can even polish it even better to make it top notch. We have examples of for example, barber shop, where people cut their hair, where the guys go cut their hair. Before, when I was growing up, if most of the barbers doing it were people that really didn't go to school, but they have the skill of cutting hair. So then they will set up and then they will cut it. So you dare not say that, what do you want to, if you're asked, what do you want to become in future, you say you want to be a barber. That will make your parents collapse. Like it can't happen, you know. But now people are putting up like really sophisticated barber shops that, like you are saying, if you are entering to go and cut your hair, you better ask what the price is before you sit
Yes.
down, because otherwise you may make a mistake and you'll be found wanting. So I think that whatever it is that you are doing, just still go to school, just still shape yourself, and go at your talent, and I'm sure that it will be well for you. The next question that is coming in, and I think that will be the last question because we need to wrap up on the show, is, a lot of people in my society think that social media is influencing my generation negatively. But like you are saying, it is actually what? It is actually an opportunity or a platform to make our voices heard. Do you also think that social media is influencing negatively mostly? I think we already said it on the
Mhm.
show that there are lots of pros and cons. However, it's how you manage the social media and how you let it affect you, isn't it? Please, guys, help me.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah.
I think it's how you manage it because you have the power. Of course, negative things are always going to go through, but as far as you have the power to follow what pages you want to follow, and you have the power to like listen to who you want to listen to. So
Yeah.
I think it's just about trying to follow as many positive pages and people as you can. And if anything is negative, you have the power to just block that out. So yeah, that's what I recommend. Just following as many positive pages as you can.
Yeah.
Being
Samantha.
socially
Mhm.
responsible, that's really
Mhm.
it. I mean, just be, you have the option. You remember, social media don't control you, so you literally can
Mhm.
decide, what pages or what influencers or creators you want to follow, you want to engage with. You can create the timeline, you can feed your timeline with whatever content you want to see. So it's up to you. You have the social responsibility of navigating that. But there is pros and cons to social media. You just have to find the positive light in it and then make that work for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you're still tuned into Love Bay Radio, and this is the Voices of the Millennials, where we make sure that we amplify the aspirations, concerns, and stories of our generation. It's been an insightful session with you girls. Thank you so much for joining me on the Voices of the Millennials tonight. I hope that when we invite you again, you will make it. You make time to be on the show with me again.
Thank you
Stay
for having me.
tuned.
I hope so.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Stay tuned for our next episodes of the Voices of the Millennials, where we will continue to explore on issues that matters the most to our generation. And until then, remember that your voice matters, your story is very important, and together we can shape a bright future for ourselves and for our generations to come. My name is Annamaria Amissah. I'm going to be your regular host. I am signing off. Until next time, be well.